Now that we know the basics of PowerShell, we got the ground ready, we have the prerequisites installed. Let's go ahead and start building something in Azure. We have the authentication done. We just did the authentication to Azure. You can also verify that by running get-azure rm subscription. Yeah, and then execute that. It should tell that I'm currently logged in with the following account, which is a free trial. All that is good. So what are we going to do? We will build a web app, nothing but a PAAS application. So PAAS is a web app that I want to run, which is web application. Now, in order to create a web app, we need a resource group because a web app will be sitting inside the resource group. We also need to have an app service plan that indicates whether it's a free tier or a basic tier or the premium tier. Basically a server on which the web app will go and sit on. And then finally, you will create a web app that will be connecting to the app service plan and to the resource group. Let's get started. Now, every time you want to create something, then the command, well, it's basically pretty much in English, right? Verb hyphen noun. This get is a verb, and then you have a noun right here, right? What do you want to do, right? Well, I want to create, which is new hyphen Azure. Beautiful. IntelliSense automatically starts helping me. I would not say interrupting, but starts helping and make sure that we do not type anything incorrectly. Azure RM, and I want to create a resource group. So yeah, resource group. Select that, hit enter. What is the name of the resource group? Now this commandlet will have several syntaxes. You can scroll down to the bottom and look at them one by one, but I want to create a resource group with the following name. Let's say prod, right? The name of the resource group will be prod, and its location will be east to west. Great. Now I'm going to put this in a variable. Whenever you see a dollar resource group, whenever you see a dollar, it means it's a variable. That means the output of the command after the equal symbol will be stored inside resource group. I'll show that to you. I'll hit the execute button, so just that line gets executed. And now what's inside dollar resource group? Inside dollar resource group, you have information about the resource group, right? What is the resource group name, location, etc., etc. But if you would like to know just the resource group name, I would rather say dot resource group name, and that will tell me just the resource group name, right? So I can again store this in a variable like that. Now what's inside the resource group name? RG name attribute. Well, I have a RG name, something like that. So prod. So we will keep using these variables moving forward in a script so that we can utilize it later on. Just like the way I've used $res group from the previous line number 10. I can use RG name moving forward in the rest of the script as well, so we don't have to rerun the script again and again. Variables are used so that you can store content inside it, and I'll show you the importance of it, and you'll understand that pretty soon. Now that our resource group is created, line number 1 is complete. The line number 2 is about creating an application service plan. The command is pretty straightforward. New hyphen Azure RM app service plan, and I want to put that in a location called east to west. And yeah, tier, do you want that to be in a basic tier or a free tier, right? I'll put that in a standard tier. Okay, and I also want to specify the resource group, which is $RG name, right? I already have the name from here. Let's execute line number 14. All right, so looks like the name is missing. We did not specify the name of the app service plan, and that's why it prompted here. Now, that's a mandatory attribute. I can either type the name here right away, app service plan for the web app, and hit enter, Or I'll go ahead and amend line number 14. So I'll stop this, go back here and give a name to it. And the name is business app server. All right. Execute line number 14. That should be created within a minute. While that is running, let's go ahead and start building line number 6, which is creating a web app. Yeah, so that's ready. So what do we have to do now? Create a web app. What will be the command? The command will be new -Azure rm web app, right? Or app service. Or I'll just use tab to complete. This is tab for auto completion. When you hit tab on the command prompt or tab on the keyboard, it will automatically complete the script after that. So Azure rm app, it's actually web app. Yeah. And then the resource group is, again, I'll use the same variable called rg name hyphen the name of the Azure web app. When you are creating web apps, remember that the name of the web app must always be unique. Nobody else in the world must have used that name. So make sure that you comply to that standards. So I'll use a name like new application and put a Z and a 1 2 3 next to it. 1 to 1, that's also fine. And the location is, just give some location. I also want to specify app service plan hyphen app service plan, which is this. Now how do I point the web app to this app service plan? I must be using the same formula that I used for the resource group, which is putting them in a variable, right? All right, so I'll go ahead and put this in a variable, call it as app service plan equals that, and say $app service plan dot name. Do I have a name attribute? Is will then go and sit inside app plan name, right? So what are we doing here? We are creating an app service plan, which we already created, storing the name of the app service plan inside this attribute, and use this forward while creating the web app. All right, $that. Beautiful. Now the resource group is ready, app service plan is ready, and the Azure web app will be created in the following resource group, and the name of the application will be new applications 1 to 1 in east to west, and it will get connected to our standard service plan that we just created. Let's go ahead and execute line number 18. There you go. It started doing that, so it started building it. That means the command was accepted, the syntaxes were right, and everything was in order for Azure or the PowerShell to accept it. It's going to take a while, so I'll pause the video and we'll see the functioning in the GUI in a minute.